Hey guys, welcome back. Congratulations if you made it through the first month, and if you haven't, feel free to watch the video as this can actually help you to make it through the first month. The next 2 months are going to be a little bit more difficult as we're cultivating this new lifestyle of NoFap. Now, in the last video that we actually talked about, we were talking about the familiar man and the social man, and the pros and cons of each one. So on the familiar man, the pros is that he's reached the pinnacle of reproduction. He has a family, he has children, and he has a job to provide means for them. Now, on the con side, we have to understand sometimes this is very stressful. You're trying to provide for everybody and be a partner and father at the same time, or vice versa if you're a woman and in the same situation. So what happens is that you're focusing on providing, and you're not really focused on sex in terms of like being present and having a good relationship. And of course, what happens is that your drive of life, that vitality kind of drops down because sex is so readily, then you're kind of doing it as a chore. On the other hand, we have the social man who's pushing himself to the pinnacle, creating a lifestyle, having as much sex as he can. Of course, because he has so much drive, he's trying to find someone that he can share that with. So what happens is that those are the cons of what happens when it's so sex driven. That's all he can focus is on sex, and it's not focusing more on the relationship side. So of course we talked about sex without focus, focus on sex on the con side, and then we have focus without sex, working on yourself, and actually having sex with focus with your partner. Now, as we have these questionings, I want you to start questioning a little bit further so we can get to a point of self-awareness. Now, with this what questioning is something that we answer every single day. What is he doing? He's picking up the book. What is she doing? She is driving. So as we start going a little bit further, we start going into the hows. Now, remember, as humans, we always want a partner. So as we already have a partner, we need to understand why are we doing the things that we want and pushing ourselves to other means. So that's the mission. What is your mission? You already have a direction that you want to go to, or if you haven't, then you kind of start seeing what the actions are that you're taking. Same idea. You have the actions, you have a direction, now you need a mission. Why are you doing this? So you can obtain a nice lifestyle, so you can have a nice family or a nice lifestyle for a family. So again, with our partner, it's part of our needs in the hierarchy of needs. We need love, we need sex, we need support, we need self-esteem for us to reach a level of self-actualization. Same thing with the logical levels of NLP, which is our environment, then is our behaviors, then skills and capabilities, beliefs and values, and then our identity. So we start reaching our identity once we reach that self-actualization. So where I want you to start is more about the behaviors. What are the behaviors that you want to cultivate? How are they doing these behaviors? So you start looking at people. What is it that you want from them? So of course you can question me, what is he doing, right? He's doing the NoFap challenge. Now, how is he doing it? He's doing it by abstaining from watching pornography and masturbation. Why is he doing it? He's doing it to provide more value, information, and of course to challenge himself as well. It's something that you also want to do. So why are you doing it? So you know how to do it. Why are you doing it? That's something that you always want to have in the back of your mind as you're doing this challenge. It's very important because it's always going to be the driver for this. As we start getting to the higher whys of our questioning, we start having higher levels of thinking, higher levels of answering. Because what happens with the how is basically using our mirror neurons neural network, and basically that's innate. You know, we learn by modeling and playing, and people can basically follow you just by doing the same thing, right? But it doesn't give them any purpose. Why are you doing it? What is the mission? So you know the direction that you want to go. right? That's the how. You know the actions. What is it that I'm doing? But now, as you start going to higher levels, why is it that you're doing it? It could be because you want to stop the addiction of pornography, or because you want to obtain more sex and you want to focus on obtaining sex, or you want to focus on your relationship, be a better father, be a better partner. Whatever that is, understand where you are in the spectrum, and of course, as you're going up the ladder. This way, you can become more self aware, and it becomes this metacognitive process as you're thinking of thinking. So you start working at higher functions, and you also understand that, hey, sex is not a big deal, right? I want to work on this, and sex automatically comes with it. So if you are doing it for sex, as a single man, I want you to think about three things. The priority, the politicalness of it, and of course the timing of it. So the timing may not be right if you meet a partner or a mate because they're in some weird part of their lives. The political, no one wants to be judged by wanting and having sex. And then of course the priority, what is it that they're getting out of this? Are they losing, or is it a win-win situation? So as you start letting go of that and start focusing on why you're doing that, not really for the sex, but really just because you want to improve, sex comes to you. People question the realities because people are having more fun. Now they understand everybody wants sex. Everybody wants sex because we are sexual beings. But what happens is that because you let go of that process, because you don't want sex, you will obtain sex and you're functioning at a higher level. On the other hand, for the familiar man, you can focus on things without sex. So you can push that with the NoFap challenge. Of course, you'll want sex, so that means that you'll want to be with your partner. So they'll feel that romance spark again, and of course, you're letting go of the pornography. And of course, like I said before, you can always share different aspects, maybe spicing it up with other things such as going to clubs, meeting other people that are like-minded, or kind of watching pornography together. That actually excites as well. In that way, you don't feel any shame for that. Again, going back to, can you have sex with the same partner? It may not be pornography, because again, we envy the people that actually do pornography. So we actually question why they're doing it, because they enjoy it. How they're doing it, they're having sex, of course, and they're getting paid for it. And what is it they're doing? They're having sex. As simple as that. But the higher level thinking is something that you want to do as well as you are a familial man. So understanding why porn actors and actresses actually do this is called empathizing. 3 ways that you can learn how to empathize: the mind reading, the effect matching, and the empathetic motivations. Mind reading, of course, you can kind of put yourself in their position, understand why they would do it, maybe going back in their lives and stuff like that. Like, hey, okay, if I had a life like that, that makes more sense. The effect matching is the mirror neurons. And of course, the empathetic motivation is if someone breaks a bone, okay, I get it. And of course, if you're watching porn, yeah, definitely you can put yourself in that position and be like, hey, I could so do this. But of course, there's politicalness. There is timing. And of course, there is priority with each situation. Now, once you start understanding that it's the same way with the questioning as learning how to empathize, then you start understanding that this higher level thinking is actually the mentalizing mechanism that we have in our brain. Mentalizing is actually not a word, so I wouldn't actually look it up, but it is a section of psychology that has been researched over and over again. Basically, what happens is that we use the ability to visualize things for us to function properly, do the actions that we need, and of course be ready for any actions that may come into the future. And this is something that I want to combine with psychocybernetics. As we're functioning at this metacognitive state, we're basically going in autopilot and being able to focus on what is necessary in the present moment while also having a goal in the future. So take this and see if it works. See if it's able to be tested within your own confines of this NoFap challenge. For our next video, we're going to be a little bit more self-aware as we understand where we are in this questioning of why. Because again, the why is the reason why we have our values and beliefs. The how is the skills and capabilities that we have, and then what is just the behavior that people do. So remember, think about the values and beliefs that you want to get out of this, because you already know how to do this and what we are doing. We're trying to improve ourselves. Alright guys, so hopefully that helps. I'm out and about, what I just talked about. Peace.